We are the 6th Street Dam Removal Commission. I'm Brenna Erickson.
I'm Joel Segeda.
And I'm Devin Gordon.
Miss Brenna, what are dams?
A dam is a barrier that restricts or stops the flow in a river or an underground stream. They provide water for domestic, industry, and irrigation purposes. These dams create reservoirs that are used to control flooding of water and are used for recreational activities such as fishing or boating. As seen in this picture, you can see the water flows down the dam with increasing velocity and creates an undertow, which is very dangerous for swimmers or kayakers or anyone going near the water.
But Miss Brenna, wait, what is dam removal?
So dam removal is the demolishing of the barrier that restricts the natural flow. The types of dam removal are full and partial. Full dam removal is demolishing of the whole dam all at once. Partial dam removal is helpful in that it holds the sediment behind the dam so that it doesn't erode the other sediment. It also retains the storage capacity so the river doesn't overflow, and it can also be used as a historical preference if you only get rid of part of the dam. There are also modifications that can be made to dams to help fish and water release. There's continuity, which allows passage for fish to swim upstream or downstream when they migrate. There's also a technique where you can increase or decrease the water release to help the natural flow of the river.
Oh, Miss Brenna, when have we removed dams? What's an example?
That is a great question, Jimmy. 2,500 dams block the natural flow of Michigan rivers, and only 1,150 dams have been removed in the United States total over the past 100 years. You can just touch the screen and exit. So the largest dam removal started in September 17th. I was supposed to show this.
Where?
I was just supposed to point at it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's from the industry side.
Okay.
That was good. That was a strong step.
That was. I felt really confident.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that a lot.
2000? I need to watch it. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You're good.
It's
You're
so
good.
awkward.
Yeah, you're good.
2,500 dams block the natural flow of rivers in Michigan. Only 1,150 dams have been removed on September 17th, 2011, the Elwha River Dam was the biggest dam removal in history. In 1992, they had to pass the Elwha River Ecosystem and Fisheries Restoration Act in order to restore the altered ecosystem. In 2000, partial lowering of dams was found to reduce erosion and protect the sediment, which is what the Elwha River Dam used.
So what is the history of dam removal?
So the 6th Street Dam is located in Grand Rapids, Michigan on the Grand River. It was installed in the mid-1800s to transport milled logs downstream. But due to more sophisticated transportation and technology, those milled logs do not have to be transported downstream anymore. The dams controlled the height and flow of the water, and due to this, kayakers have bumped into the sides of the dams and flipped over completely. On August 10, 2013, an experienced scuba diver got trapped in the undertow and died. The Grand Rapids Whitewater Organization trying to restore the rapids for recreational and environmental purposes because the Grand Rapids dams are not serving their intended purpose anymore.
Street dam is impacting the environment.
In general, dams change river structure as soon as they are built. A once free-flowing river system begins to transform into a slack water system. This slack water alters the temperature of the water, making it hard for aquatic life to adapt to it. Other changes include a change in chemical composition and dissolved oxygen levels being depleted. This slack water opens the ecosystem to foreign non-native species. On top of that, a dam also holds back sediments, that would naturally replenish the downstream ecosystems.
The 6th Street Dam is impacting our fishery.
The dam simply blocks the migration paths of fish, in particular salmon and steelhead migrations during spawning season. As I mentioned before, the slack water created by the dam depletes the river's oxygen levels, making it very stressful for fish in the river. The slack water also reduces the ability for the river to clean itself, making it very toxic for the fish. Local fisherman Jim Bufford is in favor of the dam removal, saying it will restore the spawning grounds of lake sturgeon. Last but not least, it's valid to point out that dams do not last forever. Over time, silt builds up, making the dam more likely to fail. Dams need consistent maintenance in order to stay standing, which in turn is very expensive. When dams are not properly built or maintained, they will break. That's what happened 2 summers ago when the Lyons Dam began to fail due to the dam not receiving enough maintenance.
Well, wait a minute. Won't removing the dams allow the sea lampreys to invade the local tributaries?
Concerned people that might oppose the removal of the 6th Street Dam will say that if the dam is removed, sea lamprey would soon be able to spread throughout the water system. For those who don't know, sea lamprey are an invasive parasite that latch on to various fish, killing them in the process. In regards to the potential danger, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has recently worked with engineers to develop an adjustable structure that can actually be raised and lowered depending on when the lamprey are migrating.
Well, what about those cute snuffbox mussels? Where are they supposed to live now?
Other concerned people may oppose the removal of the 6th Street Dam because it could wipe out the endangered snuffbox mussel. For those who don't know, the snuffbox mussel was only just recently discovered below the dam. This endangered species was once harvested for making buttons. It's very important we preserve the species. This would be possible by relocating the mussels further upstream. Divers can go into the river and remove the mussels by hand. This would mean digging about 6 inches of the river bottom. This is because snuffbox mussels burrow deep below the bottom.
We good? Alright, so all of what we've been telling you about dams is not theoretical, right? We have precedents for dam removal being good for the environment of river ecosystems, right? So the Nashville and Maple Hill Dam. Before the dam was removed, it had an aquatic species richness of 12 in the reservoir and 15 above the reservoir. After the dam was removed, 22 throughout the whole river. Florida's Tripola River, species diversity of 31 before the Dead Lake Dam's removal. After the Dead Lake Dam's removal, 61, it nearly doubled. So what we estimate for the Grand River post-restoration is a 500% increase in the fish holding habitat, which means that more habitat for all fishes, we get more species, 5 times increase in habitat diversity, 850% increase in sturgeon spawning habitat, and a 275% increase in sport fishing perimeter. So you might say, that sounds great, how are we going to do it? Okay? The Grand Rapids Whitewater Association has released its plans for restoring that 2.2 mile stretch of river system. First and foremost, it begins with the removal of the 6th Street Dam, and in its place we'll be installing a retractable hydraulic wall that will be able to be raised to keep out the sea lamprey and lowered to allow for the free migration of native fish species. As well as that, we're going to be removing 6 feet of sediment from the bottom of the river in order to relocate the endangered snuffbox mussel. In this sediment relocation and removal, we will also be exposing bedrock that is for the sturgeon spawning cycle. And also in removing the sediment, we'll be restoring that 18-foot drop in elevation that creates the Grand Rapids. So, okay, that sounds great. How much is it going to cost? Well, the Grand Rapids Whitewater Association has conducted a 5-year-long study, including engineers, city planners, scientists, and economists, and they believe that this project will cost about $35 million. That sounds like a lot, right? But we can pay for it. So, the Grand Rapids Whitewater Association has already raised over $4 million in federal funding for this project. They plan to launch a formal campaign to raise public donations and estimate to bring in an additional $15 million. That brings us to roughly $25 million in funding for a $35 million project. So we need an additional $10 million in federal funding, which you state senators can help us to get. That is a lot of money just to help fish, right? Wrong. By removing the dam, it will have far-reaching benefits environmentally, economically, and socially. That all sounds great, but how are we going to pay for this? The Grand Rapids Whitewater Association did a study with the Anderson Economic Group, which found that on the low end, the yearly revenue post-dam removal and restoration would be $15.9 million on the low end, and to the high end of $19.1 million per year in revenue solely generated by the restoration of the rapids. That includes commerce, tourism, jobs created by business development, everything, right? It's fishing. And as you can see by this graphic, in a mere 3 years after the restoration, we will have far surpassed the base cost of $35 million. So, because of all these reasons, I hope that we've convinced you to vote yay in favor of removing the 6th Street Dam and approving more federal funding for it.